evening. Welcome to Console Room 2024. Our next panel is a commentary, and this is our wonderful host and moderator, Ben Ellis.
Hi, everybody. How you doing today? Have you guys been just having a great time at this convention? Yes. That's right. I'm a whore for applause. No, just kidding. So today we are going to do a commentary on the very last broadcast episode of Doctor Who Survival Part 3. And here to help me with the commentary are two of the stars, Sylvester McCoy, who played the Seventh Doctor, and Lisa Bowerman. I know I'm terrible. What can I say?
He's not coming on. He's had enough.
Oh, Sylvester's... I knew... Ah! You are just the worst, but you're one of my favorites, though.
Thank you. Cheers. Sorry. Hello. Where's the film?
Right down on the TV down there.
Oh, right. Okay.
All right, so here we go.
They're playing my tune.
Now, Sylvester, this was the last episode broadcast, but this wasn't the last one you filmed, was it?
No, I don't think so.
I think it was Ghostlight
Yeah,
after this,
Ghostlight.
wasn't it?
Yeah.
I do have to point out there was a BBC strike during the course of this, so we had to get some things done quickly.
And Lisa, how did you get cast in the Katara was
I
your...
shall bore you with that one later.
Yes,
That takes
fantastic.
a while.
I think one of the reasons was you could ride a horse.
I could ride a horse, that's right. And I went to have a... Oh, there's William. There we go. If you didn't get the impression, it was hot. There was no
It
visual
was over
effects on
100
this.
degrees
It
Fahrenheit.
was
And this, I
very-
take it, was filmed in a quarry?
Yeah, it was at Warmwell Quarry in Dorset.
I call it the desert of Dorset. It was very, very big quarry. It went on for miles by miles. We did two shows there, this one and the Greatest Show in the Galaxy. And
okay.
both times it was a heat wave. Oh, that's that wonderful...
Stanley Holloway's son, Julian.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I had to do a scene with him. Oh no, I don't know if it's in this bit.
It is where you had to ride the horse together? That
Yeah.
one? Yeah, I remember that.
And he was terrified of horses,
Yeah.
and he had a bad back.
Oh God. Now, I have to point out, I had pulled a lot of muscles during this.
Did you do... Was that you with Sophie earlier?
Yeah, and you will see us running in slow motion. I pulled a muscle very badly running down this slope. And we're meant to have this lovely kind of slow motion, we're running so fast thing. And I could barely limp along. And so they slowed it down to such an extent that we didn't have to go too fast, thank God. Because running on sand in riding boots is in 100 degrees is...
Makes sense. Makes sense.
I remember something about this. There were other girls all dressed up in fun fur like you were, and one of them freaked out. We were in this desert. There was no shade. The BBC didn't give us anywhere to get out of the shade. Yeah. I was lucky I had an umbrella, so Sophie and I stood under the umbrella. And one of the girls completely freaked out, and she stripped off her costume and was last seen running over a sand dune. The only thing was she forgot she was only wearing a thong. It was a very memorable occasion, I can tell you.
I have to say, you see Anthony there with his contact lenses, and I know, Sylvester, you had a bit of a hard time because they were very thick, these contact lenses. They weren't very sophisticated. And when you were in the sand,
I remember,
the
yeah.
dust was very bad. And
Yes, no, I mean, the thing was that I was told I didn't have to have contact lenses. And so everyone went off to opticians to get their contact lenses fixed. And then on the very last day, they said to me, "Oh no, you need contact lenses." So they borrowed someone else's, and they stuck them in my eyes, and there was sand in the things. And it was that scene where I was fighting with is that coming
Tony
up?
Ainley, yep.
Yeah,
Coming up,
it was
yep.
Tony and I were fighting, and it was so hot.
Yeah.
And it was unbearable. I couldn't see them. My eyes were watering. And Tony Ainley had a femur bone on his hand, and he was beating the bejesus out of me because he couldn't see either. And I couldn't stop him hitting me.
Can I
was
just point
great.
out at this point, when Cara summons the horse, I had a bit of a discussion about the fact that cats don't howl, dogs howl, but you will see in a second. Hang on a minute.
What? Smell the blood on the wind. Hear the blood in your ears. Run. Run beyond the horizon and catch your hunger.
You see? Look, it's a wolf. It's turned into a wolf. And they got the horses to come along because they were having buckets of oats rattled at them. You know. Conveniently,
Did your mask, was that just a mask, or did you have to wear contact lenses like?
Yeah, I had to do the whole lot. I had fangs, contact lenses, the gloves.
Must have been hell.
It was interesting. Originally, there was a lot of discussion between the props department and the costume department about the paws for Cara. And they made these wonderful sort of latex paws. But as soon as I got on a horse, they just shredded, and especially when it was so hot. So I had the classic BBC alternative of gardening gloves, and you will see at the end the magnificence of my gardening gloves. I have to say that the visual effects guys did marvelously well on the tiny, tiny amount of budget they've got. But all of those carcasses you see are kind of real. And after a few days, they were whiffing a bit, I have to say.
They had some stink to them, basically.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah,
it
well,
wasn't great.
method acting, you see.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Originally, they had me have these fangs on the bottom jaw as well, but I couldn't actually talk with those. So we stuck to the top ones.
Did you have to come in and do the dialogue later then?
Say again?
Did you have to come and do the dialogue later since you couldn't really talk?
No. That's recorded in situ.
So
They
this
treated
is
it
how I
slightly.
understand the BBC. They want things done right away. Because I was asking Sophie, like a year ago, we did a commentary on Curse of Fenric. I said, well, were you guys allowed to improvise? No.
No. The script was the script,
No.
absolutely. They put a little wibbly thing on my voice afterwards to make
I
it
kind of
sound-
improvised now and again.
Yeah.
Much to the annoyance of the director.
Oh, bless him.
Good hunting, sister. What's happening to me, Doctor?
Ooh, death stare.
He had a wig
Oh, yeah.
for the part, but he also had a wig for life. But when he'd put the wig, he wouldn't take his wig off to put the other wig on top of the wig. So he had two wigs.
It was a wig on a wig. I have to say, I know that he's accepted that this is one of his best performances as the master. He was, and also it was a very strong script by Rona Munro. She's a terrifically good writer.
Have you either of you seen have watched her new series episode of Eaters of the Light?
Sorry, could you say that again?
Have either of you watched her new series episode that she wrote, Eaters of the Light?
Yeah, I did see it. It was very different.
Oh,
Very
yes.
different from this.
What?
I think it was set
You
in
are-
Rona wrote an episode
wrote
of Peter
another
Capaldi
episode.
for Peter Capaldi's last series.
Peter Capaldi.
Yeah, she wrote one.
All right, okay.
Is it Eaters of the Light? Am I saying that right?
Eaters of the Light, yes.
Good thing I'm in a room full of Doctor Who fans.
I think Arthur Darvill was in it.
As,
Yes.
she's,
Yeah.
as she's Scottish and as Peter was Scottish, it's Readers of the Light.
I met her. I'd never met Rona before. I'd gone to see some plays at the National, which she wrote, called the James plays, about James the First, Second, and Third.
I was out of the country. I wanted to see
Oh,
those.
they were
I met her a
fantastic.
few times afterwards as
and
well.
I said to my friend who I was with, I said, do you know what Rona Munro looks like? And she goes, I do. And she's here, and I can see her over there. So I introduced myself. And I said, I do have to say, I love the plays. And I have to say, I was actually in Survival. And she said, oh, were you eaten by a cheetah person? I said, I was the cheetah person. And she gave me a big hug. It was very sweet of her.
Should have got a doctor to me, no, that's the least you could have done. Instead of keeping me lying about the street. You're a doctor, right? You should know better.
Thanks,
That was filmed in, actually was the place, wasn't it?
Thanks, Doctor. Thanks for saving my life and getting me back home.
Oh, Dave, he's great. He's a great actor. I've used him in Big Finish stuff. He's terrific.
Everything's back to normal then. Oh, come on, Professor. What are we hanging about for?
Unfinished business.
What?
A master.
Oh, he's not still around here, is he? Done with the university.
It was you.
Yeah, he wants to come home, I know. Listen, this is the only home we've got now, right?
Oh, it was you that brought us here, home. Therefore, Mitch must have. Where does Mitch live?
Who? Mitch! Oh, I don't know. He used to live in some flats over there somewhere.
Come on.
Gosh, old telephone. Let's go back a bit.
Is he still around, this guy?
He is, and he's now very famous for playing Boris Johnson, would you believe? He did a very
Really?
successful run of a play. Now, you may laugh, but he did a very successful run of a play at the Park Theatre in London, and he's terrifyingly good at it. He dyed his hair blonde. It was extraordinary.
And his name was Will Barton. His actor's name was Will Barton, correct?
That's Will Barton. Yeah, that's right.
That is.
Oop. Now this is where Adele Silver comes in. And Adele is now pretty well known. She was in Emmerdale, which is a soap opera in the UK.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, she's quite well known.
Was she in Emmerdale before this or after this?
Oh, no, after.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. You're the lads. Are we the lads? So 80s.
He asked me to have a little chat with you. I learned a secret today. A secret success. For sure.
There's a lot of talk about the fact that Russell was really influenced by the location of this. If you look at the first episode of the new series with Rose, set on the estate, it's a lot of
Russell
vibe.
T. Davis, you mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
What's he doing it for? Why? He's escaped, hasn't he? He doesn't need to keep the cheaters busy. He's safe. What's he still doing it for?
Malice.
Grand's an explorer, I'll take her.
I like scenes like that. I only have one word to say.
I knew somebody else like that.
To destroy me.
Are you right?
We had an explosive combination. One day one was Mike, locked the other one out.
Oh God, those cats,
My surprise, really.
especially down on the location in Dorset. It was literally like herding cats. It was impossible.
That was just the actors going to the
that
bar.
that one was called Graham. I remember that. Graham the cat never did what it was told, and he had hair gel in his fur because it's very difficult to get cats looking rough because they look after themselves so well.
He's at the youth club. I know he is.
It's common sense, right? It's just the way of the world, right? Survival of the fittest. Getting rid of the dead wood, let the wasters go to the wall.
And he grows up to become Trump.
I wonder whether any of those guys have done
That's
anything.
what Trump believes, isn't it?
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, he's got his teeth in.
No, Donald, a lot of us aren't listening to you, so.
There come the eyes.
Don't move. Understand me? Understand me, right? You'll do anything I say, you'll do anything I say. And won't you? Won't you? Yes, sir. Right, lads. Sorry I'm late. I'm late. The accident, but everything's all right now. Right, come on then, let's get things moving. Let's start showing a bit of sweat. Why don't you take over now, Mitch?
Oh, good cut.
So much for the SAS survival course.
Oh God, the famous motorbike scene. Remember this stuff?
Were you there?
I was waiting. I was waiting a very long time to do my last scene, and this took a little while. I think it was a slight, should we say, discussion between Tip Tipping and Eddie Kidd, who
Eddie
did the
Kidd.
stunts.
But also, if it's the bit,
Yeah, it is.
yeah,
That's Eddie Kidd, pretending to be Will. Will pretending to be...
they put me on a motorbike, and it was a very heavy bike, and I don't know how to. I'm not very good on bikes, and I said they put it on a hill, and I said, "Could we put it on the flat?" And they said, "No, it's a nice background. Do it there." So I started up the bike and went backwards rather than going forwards. And eventually I did go forwards, and the crowd had gathered round it, and I was terrified that I might kill
on
them.
the hill, you see the hill?
Yeah.
There we go. Way! Whoop. Sorry, I shouldn't laugh. That looks good.
Yeah, no, I mean, they actually put me on it, and they sent me, they said, go to the end, and I was going along this field, and it's on a cliff. And at the edge of the cliff, I thought, how do you stop this thing? And so all I did was skid. I just went on my side. I mean, I nearly went right over the edge because I hadn't rehearsed it. It was the BBC in those days. Just get on it, do it. No health and safety.
Sylvester, would you guys rehearse at the Acton Hilton then?
Yes, we did.
Sorry, what did you say?
We rehearsed at the Acton Hilton. You know, the
Oh
old
yeah,
rehearsals.
I was there.
I remember I was, obviously I didn't have the horse in rehearsals, and I was trotting around, and Hale and Pace, who were a couple of comedians who did the first episode, and saying, you on an horsey then? And I said, yes, I am. Now we have to explain about this last scene, which
David,
I'm sure
you're
you
late.
know about. Because we basically ran out of time. It was coming up to a BBC strike, and we had to get everything finished. But we didn't quite. So this is still on Horsenden Hill, just outside London.
The one with the cliff.
The one with the cliff. Kaboom. I had been waiting. I've been waiting so long. I was meant to have arrived with a big rear on the horse, but we'd been waiting so long, the horse has got bored by that time, you can tell. It's like, whatever. And I really enjoyed it because I cantered right up to Anthony's nose, and Alan didn't use that shot. He said, oh, it looked too dangerous. And I went, oh, all right.
With your enemy's blood in your mouth.
Come on, get on with it, mate.
It's only on Earth that cats don't go, oh!
I know.
Because I was going to ask, is that a British thing British cats do?
No.
Yes.
Which planet were you from? Whatever the planet
Who
was.
knows? It's a howling cat planet.
Yeah.
There we
The
go.
howling
'Cause
cat
I used to
planet.
canter right up to his nose, and they didn't. And they didn't like it, which is a pity. That horse is reassuringly called Fury.
And you're called Furry. So you was Furry on Fury.
Furry. The spectacular gardening gloves are coming up imminently, I have to say.
I can always do something to you.
Oh, there go the gardening gloves. Oh, back in the sandpit. And Sylvester's bottom. Having exploded on a bike, you survived with your bottom intact, Sylvester. Oh, it's a blonde wig.
Oh, look, it's a young sister.
Alan thought my hair looked too polite, so they gave me this glamorous wig.
Lisa, was this your first television role for the BBC?
No, I'd done Casualty before.
Okay.
that, yeah. I was actually meant to die with my eyes open and the contact lenses in, but because of the length of time we'd been waiting, my eyes had started reacting because I was meant to looking up at the light. By that time, I just couldn't open my eyes, so we copped out in the end, I'm afraid.
Yes. Would be too easy.
They do say subtract.
You're very good in this, Sylvester, can I just say?
Oh, thank you.
You should be admitted evening. Such a simple, brutal pie just about tooth and claw. Really destroyed me. A time war. But I control that force. Now it's lost. I destroy you.
Oh yeah, this was
This
the
is the
nightmare.
contact lenses, yeah.
Contact lenses, weeping, that bone, and he kept. I couldn't see properly to stop him like I did there. That was by accident. Kept thumping me, and also they set light to it, and flames all around it, and the heat wave. It was just absolute agony.
Oh, and that's me on the bottom right because they were lacking numbers.
Did you get paid twice?
We've got to go. Yes, we can. Escape to what? Character now. If we fight, we'll destroy this planet. We'll destroy ourselves.
Oh, it's a bit like now, really. If we fight, we'll destroy the
Yeah.
planet.
Animals. One of my favorite scenes.
Oops.
Did you hear that racket? Did you hear it? There have been cat fights all hours of the day. So you say, cats. It's the owners I blame. They want the pet right, they want the animal, but do they keep it under control?
We're trying.
So you say.
Now, this is actually shot in Dorset, because we'd run out of time on Horsenden Hill. I mean, that's Horsenden Hill. That's Damien. And then we're back in Dorset. And I think you might remember, Sylvester, we got hopelessly lost trying to find at the end, trying to find the location. We were walking around in circles for ages.
Oh, if that's the one I think it was, we had the
Yeah.
outside broadcast unit, didn't we?
Yeah, that's right.
And
Now, this speech...
when we got there, though, the fans knew where our location was.
Yeah.
They were there waiting for us.
You might know about this last speech. It's very well recorded that it wasn't recorded at the time and recorded after they knew it was finishing. And Andrew
What?
Cartmel wrote that last speech you did when you walked into the bushes at the end after this.
I know all about it. I was there.
Yeah, I knew you were.
So was your speech at the end of Survival how the episode was supposed to end?
No.
Not in the original one, no. It was just that So they gave it to me and I had to learn it very quickly.
Yes, the TARDIS. There are worlds out there. The sky is burning. The seas and the rivers dream. Few made of smoke and cities live in song. Some of there's danger. Some of there's injustice. Somewhere else the tea's getting cold. Come on, Ace. We good work.
To do.
So we're gonna do some Q&A. So if anyone would like to line up at the mic. Well, do you want to walk around if people have questions for you?
Sorry, are you talking to me?
Sorry.
Are you talking to me? Are you talking to me?
Yes,
Are you
sir.
talking to me?
Sorry, Mr. McCoy.
There's a character does that. Who is it? Says that you talking to me. You talking to me.
Dirty Harry. No.
Good,
Robert De Niro and Taxi Driver.
Oh, yeah. You.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So. Okay, now let's see. Anyone want to talk about that? Because you can ask us questions, and I know nothing about it, but the young lady here knows all about it.
No, you're far better than that. What, you're off then? Oh, you're off with the microphone.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Anyway.
I've got Matt here in front of a microphone there. You see, straight ahead of you.
Yep.
so-
No, I've got eyes. I can see.
Oh, poor old Matt is behind you. We'll get to
Hand
Matt,
up.
don't worry.
Okay. So this is kind of for both of you, but probably more for you. So it was later talked about that this episode was deliberately like queer coded in like subtextually. Was that something that you had picked up on at the time, or not really realized till
Funnily enough,
later?
I talked about this later. It wasn't until later that Rona actually said, "You do know there's a lesbian subplot, don't you?" And I went, "No." I think there was so much technical stuff to do, and we were so busy trying to stay on the horse and I actually think that we wouldn't have played it any different had we known, to be honest. And I think you can take from it exactly what you want to take from it. And I think the bond between the two characters is pretty well defined. So take it as you will, if that makes
Good.
sense.
Yep. Buster Keaton, when he didn't know what to do, he would stop and count to 3 and let the audience interpret it.
Very good.
Hi, not so much a question, but just a comment. I like to think that the blonde lady who shows up at the very end is a young Jackie Tyler. Rose's mom.
Very good. Camille Kaduri. But not, it was Michelle. She was lovely. Yeah, but good.
Anyone else want to ask a question?
I have a question.
Well, come down here then.
I wish I could. My ankle
Okay,
is
fire
fused.
away. What's your question?
What is your favorite Buster Keaton movie?
Oh, The General.
Yeah.
I love The General, but I mean, I love them all, really. I've played Buster Keaton. I did all these stunts on the stage, and I adored him. He is my God. Anyway, anyone else want to ask questions about
Whenever that.
this program?
You've both done fantastic in the audio dramas. What's the difference between acting, on the screen versus, an audio where you have to really enunciate everything?
Not learning your words. No. Sylvester, I'm going to hand that to you first.
Well, I mean, audio is very, very different because everything has got to come through the mouth. Whereas on screen, everything comes through visually, your visual, all of this is acting. You can see it all and close-ups. Whereas with the voice, it's like that. But it's wonderful to do. I bet like you love it, don't you? It's a wonderful way to act because you go right inside your head. You're in your head and you're in there doing it and trying to express everything that you've got to express during that scene. And it's very satisfactory.
I would say though that you can still be as physical doing it,
well,
as long as you don't do that.
Well, I mean, yes.
Actually,
but it's kind of, it's not that. It's this kind of, it's in, it's all that comes out here.
Yeah.
And
you still need as much energy to do it as a physical performance. I think everybody thinks you just sit there and sit back and do it, and you don't. You really put yourself into it,
And I'm 6 feet tall, and the sets don't shake. So that's another reason for doing it.
Oh, good face for radio. Me, yeah.
No one else. We can go home now.
Behind you.
Oh, right
Over
down
here.
there. Right, I'm coming down.
You did your exercise.
Yes. No, this is how I'd get my exercise. They send me a bill afterwards. Hello.
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 So for your last 2 seasons, Andrew Cartmel made it very intentional to kind of add an element of mystery back to the Doctor and a more slightly Machiavellian approach. Did he clue you in on those type of things to help inform your performance, or did you just feel from the material off the page that you could do things a bit more enigmatically and more...
Is that what he's written in his book? Well, actually, so the thing is, it was my idea. It was our idea. What happened was that when I got the role as Doctor Who, I was told I was 950 years old. I also hadn't seen Doctor Who for years, so luckily I had no baggage. I didn't know what happened behind me, except I had a distant memory of Patrick Troughton. And then the thing was also that I believed that too much got to be known about the Doctor, and I wanted to bring back the mystery. That's why the question mark, umbrella, and that kind of thing. And also my grandmother, at at that time got to be 100. In those days, that was very unusual. I went to see her. She was very compos mentis. She was sharp, but she had lived a long life. And my doctor was 950 years old. And I realized that her sadness, her tragedies that she'd been through, I wanted to bring that to the doctor, as well as the mystery. And so that's what created. So Andrew Cartmel agreed with me. It came from me, really, because I came back with this. My granny's this. We must try and get the old age in. And also, we must try and bring back the mystery and the uncertainty. And that's why he then took that to the writers and developed it, and that's how it came back.
I wanted to ask about the scene where you explode on the motorcycle and then end up ignominiously in a pile of trash. Whose idea was that?
Might have been mine. But I can't remember. Such a long time ago. Yes. What, you? Right. Oh, coming through.
So when you made Survival, you didn't know it was the last one. Can you just talk through how you found out and how you felt about it being the end and just...
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what happened was, when I agreed to do Doctor Who, I agreed to do 3 years, because Patrick Troughton had told Peter Davidson, only do 3 years, and Patrick Troughton was my doctor, and I thought, I'll only do 3 years. And the second year, John Nathan Turner came to me and said, listen, I would like you to do a 4th year. And I went, and he said, if you don't do a 4th year, we won't do a 3rd year. So I said, okay. You twisted my arm, I'll do a 4th year. So then we finish the season that you saw there, and I'm at home in the middle of August, and suddenly the phone rings, and it's John Nathan Turner saying, welcome, I want to chat to you. Sorry, I'm trying to welcome these people. You're late. We're nearly finished. Anyway, so... he says to me, I sent you a letter. And I said, oh, thank you. Well, I don't know why you phoned me then. And he said, well, shall I tell you what's in the letter? And I said, yeah, tell me what's in the letter. And he said, okay, I'm telling you that the show has been put into hiatus. And so how I felt about that? Very angry. They twisted my arm to do a 4th season, and then they'd taken it away. It was like slap in the face. I wasn't really sure what a hiatus was. I just thought it was a horrible word. But it turns out I was supposed to come back again. So it did eventually, 9 years later. So anyway, that's how I found out. No one else? So where are those ladies that just came in? Where are they? Oh, yeah. Excuse me. I
hope you're going to test them on the episode.
I want to know, why are you so late?
Well, I was here earlier and I couldn't find my phone, so I had to run up.
Oh, your phone? Oh God. Oh, yes, of course. I'm so pleased you found it. Right. Okay,
So
yes, the hand over there. Right, yes, sorry, are we nearly finished? Is that what you're going to tell me?
No, we got 10 minutes, so...
For Lisa, did you ever keep any bit of that costume, or did you want to burn it afterwards?
Well, do you know, a lot of it was kept by somebody, and they sold it. Oh, well done, Sylvester. I'll tell Sylvester. They sold it for an enormous amount of money at Bonham's. I mean, it was kind of, God knows what state it was in. But actually, in those days, even then, we weren't allowed to keep anything because they all knew that these things had value. The one thing I do have is my head cast in a box in my upstairs room, which is really bizarre. But it's a kind of, yeah, you're terrifying. And so that's a sort of, keepsake, if you like. But every so often somebody comes with a strip of fur and go, look, it's the original. But you see, there were a lot of cheetah people. And I have to say, just in terms of the makeup, I was the lucky one because I had a very, custom-built, lightweight, lot of fun fur stuck to my face. But those dancers who were playing the other cheetahs, they had these heavy latex, no wonder dear old Sammy, I think her name was, who ripped it all off and walked into the sunset. I mean, who could blame her? It was unbelievably hot. And I do have to thank Anthony Ainley, actually, because there was one day when I was, I suppose, on the verge of heat stroke. I'd been sitting waiting for a long time, and they couldn't find the water anywhere. This was up in Warmwell. And I think he had a good shout at somebody, so I got the water in the end.
Sylvester, my friend Natasha has a question at the back there.
I beg your pudding?
Right at the back, sir.
All right. Oh, no, that's not your friend. That's someone 100 miles away, 1,000 miles away.
Well, she does live in New Hope.
And that's
so-
that little robot there. See that robot there?
He's not incorrect. It's the robot.
Hello.
We have I've got two questions from the online. I'll give them to you one at a time.
No, doing them both together. That'd be interesting, wouldn't it?
All right,
Question
both
one.
at once.
Well, how did you? Question two. Want to know about? So, question two, one. Back to one again, and then two.
How many different locations do you think were used for the filming? Question two. Do you have a favorite part of The Greatest Show in the Galaxy?
Well, I mean, how many? I don't know how
I'd say
many.
about 3 or 4, actually.
75 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Well, there was a
exactly.
desert of Dorset.
There was a Warmwell Quarry. There was Horsenden Hill. There was where Ace came from, which was remind me of the suburb.
Perryvale.
Perryvale, that was it. We actually did. They shot at Perryvale, and then there was the council estate, and I think that was about it.
But then there was the boxing club. You know.
Oh yeah, I don't know where that was. I didn't go.
So it was like what was the other question about the Greatest Show in the Galaxy? What was great about that? Well, it was great fun. I mean, we had a very merry time, except again, it was in the desert of Dorset, and the heat was over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, and it was right. But we got to ride 3 motorbikes with 3 wheels, or whatever you call them, and that was great fun. What else? Oh, that was the one where the tent got blown up, and they didn't tell me it was going to get blown up. It was the last shot, and it was the last shot of that was it. There was no chance of ever doing that shot again. That was the last shot, and we were on to the next story. We were on to the next location. So it had to work. And in the tent, I had somehow defeated the gods of Ragnarok. And this was supposed to be, they told me all this detritus of the gods of Ragnarok would blow out of the tent as I walked past. As I walked past, it wasn't, they forgot to tell me that the BBC hadn't sent down the proper equipment to do that. So they improvised and blew the
It's okay.
Blew the flipping thing up. And I didn't know. I walked past this and I thought the Second World War had happened behind my back. And I felt all this heat. I didn't know whether I was on fire. But the thing is, I knew I had to keep going because it was the last shot. You know, I had to keep. So I kept walking away as if, I'm walking down on Sunday afternoon through the forest. Whereas, Second World War was going off in my back and at my bottom and all that kind of stuff. It was very hot. But so, yeah, that was quite a memorable moment. Yes. Oh, there's someone else over there coming back. Yeah. Boom, 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 boom. Hello.
Well, you said you wanted to get your steps in. I wanted to ask about production schedules, because in modern 21st century shooting, they'll shoot an entire season, edit, and then release. But I know that it was different when they were doing the originals. Did you do a lot of them all in a row? Were they released day by day? How did that work?
No, well, I mean, what happens is we used to have a week's rehearsal, or sometimes longer. So we rehearsed in a place called Acton Hilton.
Acton Hilton.
And it was a wonderful purpose-built rehearsal rooms, multi-story rehearsal rooms. And we rehearsed there, and then we would do the filming, outdoor filming first. So we'd go and do that, and then eventually we'd go into the studio. So that would used to take about, 12 days? 30
Yeah,
days?
I mean, from my point of view, we didn't have studio on Survival at all, but I would say it was about a 2-week shoot.
Yeah, it was so it was a lot of, so we got to know it really rather well. And then it would go out weekly, usually on a Saturday, every Saturday.
In the old days, it was
Well,
on
it
a
was
Saturday.
Mondays when it went out for the last season.
No, it was a disaster because our friend who was the head of the BBC didn't like Doctor Who very much, and we were buried opposite Coronation Street on a Tuesday or a Thursday or something like that.
Yeah, they kept changing it.
So
We actually got 7 million viewers up against Coronation Street.
Which actually is pretty good going.
Which was a hell of a lot now. I mean, nowadays they'd beg for 7 million.
Absolutely.
So, and also VCRs were coming in then, and they didn't take the numbers of VCRs. So, mums and dads would watch Coronation Street, and the children would then go upstairs and watch, Doctor Who afterwards, but nobody knew that they took those numbers. So we were quite successful when that happened. Yeah, so that's true. All right, hands up, stand up. Excuse me, you thought you became comfortable. Oops, you're not. Bye.
So I watched you in a Ken Campbell documentary. Wonderful mustache, by the way.
Thank you. I agree with myself.
But you had a gag in there which I don't quite understand, where you would take a rope around your neck and hand one set to the kids to pull and another set to the kids to pull. Yeah, what was the gag?
Well, what it was this is really rather good because we could use this. Come with. Now, we're going to swing this round. No, you stay still, because that's how it would be. Now, you young man, you come here. You take this one, and you pull that. You go to the end of that. No, yeah, right. And we need another. You, sir, can you come help me here? And you take that. And so it was a real rope. They tied, which they put around my neck, and they tied it. You hold this. They tied it like this. Sorry, I'll give it back to you. Just this knot like this on the rope. Let go. Now grab. So it was like that. It was a rope like that. They put it around my neck, and they got two. We did it with children, but that was only in the documentary. In real life, we did it with big, burly men in the theatre. And then they'd pull it. They'd pull and pull and pull, and they would try. And what would happen is that as I was small and they were tall, I would actually end up dangling on my feet around this rope. But they couldn't kill me. And the secret was, it was a specific circumference of rope, and it was used in sailing. And so if you tied that knot, it would not slip. So it stayed firm, and that's what it was, really. So, the people used to try and hang me, and here I am. Thank you very much for your help. Thank you very much. Big hand for these gentlemen. Big hand, thank you. Someone else, put the hand up here.
So it was mentioned that there was some difficulty with the animals you had on set. Any particular moments that stuck out?
Well, are you talking about the actors?
So rude. I tell you what we did have more trouble with was the animatronic cat, which was affectionately known as Sooty. And Alan Waring, I don't know whether you know this, Sylvester, there was that animatronic cat that used to sit up on there. And he said, "What's this about?" And he pulled its head off. And he went, okay, they tried to stick it back together, and it never quite did its thing.
So the problem was that originally they tried to train a cat to do.
Great.
And the animatronic cat was only supposed to be for quite a split second.
That's
so,
right.
It'd be filmed so quickly, you wouldn't notice it was an animatronic. But this cat they opened the box and it ran away. And so so suddenly they didn't have a cat. So they had to do that scene with so it was obviously, like...
And then the fangs,
Meow.
Do you like cats?
Love him. Yes, no, I do love cats. I love cats, animals, actors. I like them all. Can't tell the difference between them, but I do like cats. I had a cat, Lizzie, for 21 years, and she was quite astonishing, really. I lived in this place with my two sons, and I would go off touring and do stuff and come back. When I was coming up a street, which not the street I lived in, she would know I was coming and go to the top of the stairs and then wait for me. She knew, and it was amazing. She knew I was coming, and my sons loved that because if they were up to no good, they realised, Dad's coming home. So they were very fond of her for that reason. Yeah. Okay, coming through. I think I'm losing weight. My trousers are falling down.
I have a question for both of you. What was it like working with Anthony Ainley?
What was it like working with Anthony
You
Ainley?
first, Sylv.
No, you first.
No, I didn't actually have a huge amount of contact with him. Obviously, I did some scenes with him. He's very quiet. I have to say he was nothing but good to work with from my point of view. I can't say I got to know him terribly well. I know Will had a great conversation because he's cricket mad, and I think they had a nice chat about cricket. Had I known a bit more, because I quite like cricket, it would have been maybe a bit more conversation. But I thought he was terribly good, really, but very quiet from my point of view. And I probably told you earlier about the water thing. So, I've got a lot to thank him for on that front.
Well, I mean, he was great to work with. I mean, but he took it very seriously, which you're supposed to do because that's part of the job. But I mean, sometimes when he was even not acting, he still was a bit frightening. I mean, I thought I couldn't tell the difference between the real Anthony Ainley. Oops, that moves. Grab that. Push it. Grab it. Thank you. Cheers. And the real Anthony Ainley and the master. Because he said to me once, he said, all I want to do is play the master and cricket for the rest of my life. So that was, and he achieved that, really. Yeah. Oh, come on. You're all down there. You come back to me now. Get him dragging me back down there every time. So,
I'm full of questions and possibly other things. I wanted to ask about the animatronic cat. There's a show that I used to love to watch called Are You Being Served? And they had this animatronic cat. And I was I was wondering if the BBC just recycled that disastrous animatronic cat.
That's Mrs. Slocum's pussy, isn't it? Had to be said.
It was the
Had
pussy.
to be said.
It was the Pussy Boots cat in the episode.
Mrs. Slocum's pussy.
but they didn't actually have a real cat.
I
in
never
that
saw
one,
a
did
real
they?
cat in
We
that.
know.
Well, we didn't use her pussy when that one in Doctor Who. Someone else's. I don't know who it was.
So I have
Especially
another
me.
question for you, sir.
Yeah.
What was it like to work with Miriam Margolis on, was it the Best Exotic Marigold Hotel?
The real.
My mistake.
It was great. We became great mates. We are great friends. I mean, I knew her before that, but not so well, and we became great friends. And it was just wonderful to go around with Miriam farting all the way around India and swearing and everything else that she does. No, she's great. She's great.
And was it warmer, was it hotter in England making Survival or hotter in India making the Best Exotic Marigold Hotel?
Well, actually, no, it was hotter in England in a way because it was so untypical and humid, and we're not used to it. And I was dressed for India, but wearing the pullover and the hat and the thing, it was much hotter in the desert of Dorset. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. So how long have we got left now?
Well, I think actually, does anyone have one more question? One more.
Right at the back there, on the right.
Yes.
So.
Thank you. Coming your way. Bum, ba-dum, ba-dum. Don't worry. Don't be panic. It's not you. Is it you? It's you. It's you.
Hello.
Hello.
Apart from the squelching heat of Dorset, are there any locations that are very memorable for being very great to shoot in, that felt great? And are there any memorable pranks that were pulled on the set?
Yes. When I first got Doctor Who and did my early episodes, because we always filmed in, kind of sand pits and what other places?
Because for Time in the Ronnie, you were in a quarry.
In a quarry and things like that. I used to come to America, and one of the questions people used to ask said, why is it that every planet your doctor visits, it's always raining? Because we were always filming in the rain. So, yeah. Now, as far as the second one is concerned, everything was, kind of fun. I have no idea. We didn't play. I don't think we played. Did you play any things? Or get up to any nonsense?
Now, in terms of pranks, it isn't a prank, but my beloved horse, Fury, when we were doing the attack scene in the second episode, second episode as we're going down, there was JNT's other half, Gary, who was our production manager. I had to keep going up the hill and down the hill to do this attack scene. And dear old Fury, just a fart in his face. So he, that's the title wasn't deliberate. Maybe it was. I didn't ask the horse, but you never know.
Okay,
Oh,
Natasha?
it's funny. I work with animals. I was doing a thing called The Last Place on Earth about the Scott and Amazon's race for the Antarctic. We filmed it in the Arctic, and we had the dogs, the sledge, pulling the sledge, and they fed the dogs all blubber. That was what they ate, and they were not very nice in their tummy, I don't think, because we did this scene where Scott and all of us who are going to the South Pole. We're on the set in the snow, the big hut, and we're about to leave, and they bring all the dogs in, and suddenly they all collectively farted together, and it was like gas warfare. Sadly, the film wasn't running, because if it had been, you'd have seen all these people just disappearing off the set, running away into the hell. Oh God, it was appalling.
Sylvester, right at the back, we have something online.
Yes, no, I see that.
Yeah.
Yes, it was appalling, and also, I mean, when you're on the, it was wonderful being on sledge, being pulled by dogs. I mean, later on, I was pulled by rabbits. But this one, it was pulled by dogs. But every now and again, they let off. The romance of it, from a distance, looked lovely, and next to it, oh my God, it was smelly. So. But the funny thing about the rabbits, when we start off with 12 rabbits, and by the time we finish shooting, there were 24. It's weird, that.
This time it's not an online question, it's my question.
Oh, you? All right. It's not the robot.
Double-edged question. What is your favorite thing about being in Minnesota? And what's worse, Minnesota or the filming location from this show?
Such a choice.
The filming location from what?
From Survival?
Did you say Survival?
Yes.
All right. Well, I mean,
Cold
at
or
the
hot,
moment,
basically.
I think I'd quite like to be in the desert of Dorset, because it's effing cold out there. But sorry, love.
All these guys are used to it.
Yeah, no, you're used to it.
You live
What I like about being in Minneapolis, I've been here 4 times. The first time I arrived here, I was in St. Paul doing a convention. I was in this Greek circular room with Greek columns, and I was on the stage, and I was still doing Doctor Who. I was just arrived, really. And someone stood up and said to me, "Excuse me, Mr. McCoy, now you've become so universally famous, are you worried about being shot?" Welcome to America. And I stood there thinking, oh my God, you're used to guns. We don't know about guns in our country. We're just toy guns. But so it was, I hid behind the couch, and I put my umbrella and I had my hat on top of it, and I put it up, and if no one shot at it, I'd answer the next question. That's my fond memory of the Twin Cities. But I also was in the Guthrie Theatre for 2 weeks, and I enjoyed that immensely. And it was a wonderful audience whose response to King Lear was great, especially my egg business, much to Ian McKellen's annoyance. That's it.
Well, I just want to say thank you to both of you for doing this with me. It's been really fun.
Thank you.
And Sylvester will be signing autographs in a few minutes out in the hall.
Thank you.